Welcome into College Football Now by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here. Thanks for joining us as we get you set for the college football playoff semifinal between the Washington Huskies and the Texas Longhorns from the Allstate Sugar Bowl in New Orleans. What a fascinating matchup we have on our hands between these two teams. The Longhorns winning the Big 12 Conference in their final season in that league, while the Washington Huskies went undefeated and won the Pac-12 in their final season in the Pac-12 Conference. Two explosive offenses, but don't sleep on the defenses in this game that could be the difference in deciding who ultimately gets the job done. The injury report for both these teams, not too lengthy, but some notable names to watch. In particular for Texas, Xavier Worthy, big news. He has been cleared despite the leg injury he suffered. Steve Sarkisian says that he'll be good to go and play in the college football semifinal. Meanwhile, for the Washington Huskies, the most notable probably is Jackson, the wide receiver, decided to go ahead and take on the Redshirt for the remainder of the season. He is still eligible and active to play if he decides to change his mind, but what we've heard from the Washington coaching staff is that they have every intention for him to not play and hold on to his eligibility to be able to go next season. So, folks, before we go any further in today's show, if you want more college football content, this is the channel for you. We're talking college football all the time on College Football Now by Chat Sports, with college football coverage covering the recruiting trail, the transfer portal, getting you ready for the college football playoff. If you want more videos covering college football, then go ahead and subscribe. Let's get 20 subs off today's video. The boss is safe. If we get 20 subs off today's show, we can bring you more college football content. Subscribe now for free for the best college football content on YouTube. The all-time record between these two schools, Texas leads the series 3-2, and they met pretty recently. In fact, it was around this time a year ago in the Alamo Bowl in San Antonio, where the Washington Huskies were able to get the better end of this matchup. They were able to beat Texas 27-20. And Washington comes into this game with a lot of momentum. The nation's longest active winning streak, 20 in a row, is Kalen's done an incredible job since taking over as the Washington Huskies head coach, and they come in with high expectations to this one. And they've been battle-tested throughout the season, the Washington Huskies have, as they were able to defeat Arizona back on September 30th on the road. They beat the Oregon Ducks not once but twice with wins at home on October 13th and in the Pac-12 title game, and also were able to beat a very good Oregon State team on the road. When you look at this Washington team throughout the year, they've won some close games, but they have found ways to win. Although they haven't always dominated week in and week out, good teams find ways to win. That's what the Washington Huskies have done. Meanwhile, for Texas, they really opened up the year with a bang when they went into Tuscaloosa and were able to defeat the Alabama Crimson Tide for the most impressive road win that any team was able to put together in college football this year. And from there, the Longhorns had a fantastic season. They did lose to their arch-rival Oklahoma Sooners in the Red River Shootout, but then went on to win against Kansas State in overtime. Despite not having their quarterback Quinn Ewers, Malik Murphy was able to get the job done in that one. Murphy will not play in the Sugar Bowl. He's off to Duke. Arch Manning will be the backup quarterback. And then the final two games of the regular season, Texas looked great, defeating Texas Tech Thanksgiving weekend and then dominating the Oklahoma State Cowboys in the Big 12 title game 49-21. You could argue nobody's playing better football going into this playoff than the Texas Longhorns are right now. So let's hear from you. Who do you got? You going with Texas? Are the eyes of Texas upon you? Or are you going with the Washington Huskies, the Dogs? Who do you got? Let us know in the comment section. Type T for Texas, W for Washington. Weigh in. Tell me what you think. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks, the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. You pick two or more players on any given category. You get the choice of more or less, whether you're talking NFL, college football, NBA, or more. And you could choose anything from passing yards, pass completions, fantasy points, receiving yards, receptions, and more. I'm going to do a little mix and match. I'm going to take a Husky and a Longhorn both from this game for my Prize Picks. I'm going with Michael Penix to have more than 2.5 passing, rushing, or receiving touchdowns. Maybe we get a trick play where he does the Philly special or something potentially. More than 2.5 for Michael Penix. I got Xavier Worthy, healthy and ready to go. He's going to be a first-round draft pick, I can tell you that much. With more than half a receiving or rushing touchdown, I think Xavier Worthy is going to have a big night. We put $20 down on this. Cash it, turns into $60 on Prize Picks. Play along with me on Prize Picks. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Get a $100 deposit match on your first entry. That's PrizePicks.com/CLNS. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. $100 deposit match at PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Promo code CLNS. The quarterback comparison. Michael Penix Jr. expected to be a first-round pick in this April's draft. Quinn Ewers has not officially declared his decision one way or the other, but Penix had a very fantastic season this year for the Washington Huskies. 33 touchdowns, 9 picks, over 4,200 yards. Meanwhile, Quinn Ewers, the big thing about him compared to what he did a year ago, his completion percentage went way up, all the way to 70% this year, and threw for over 3,100 yards, 21 touchdowns, 6 picks. Both these guys very much pocket quarterbacks, but you can't underestimate their potential to maybe still get that extra yardage or two to be able to move around with their legs more than you may think. And the thing that I like about both QBs, too, they embrace the big stage. We've seen Michael Penix Jr. and Quinn Ewers both play their best in some of the biggest games that we've seen all season. Penix, in particular, his record as a starter, this guy's been able just to win a lot of football games with the Huskies. 24-2 this throughout his career with Washington. He and Kalen have been a really nice combo, getting the most out of the Washington Huskies quarterback with how well he has played throughout his career. We'll talk about the running back situation in just a moment. But first, what quarterback would you rather have? Would you rather have Michael Penix Jr. or would you rather go with Quinn Ewers? If it's Michael Penix Jr., type MP for Michael Penix. If it is Quinn Ewers, type QE for Quinn Ewers and let us know which quarterback you'd rather have on your team for the Allstate Sugar Bowl. The running back room for the Washington Huskies, led by Dylan Johnson, who rushed for over 1,100 yards and was fantastic in the Pac-12 championship in the win against Oregon. Will Nixon will be the number 2 running back behind him, but you can expect Dylan Johnson to get the majority of the workload for Washington. Honestly, he should have been the Pac-12 title game MVP. No disrespect to Michael Penix, but Johnson really inserted his will and was a problem for that Oregon rush defense. And if Washington's going to win this football game, Johnson's going to have another big game again. Meanwhile, for Texas, without Jonathon Brooks into the fold, they rely on C.J. Baxter and Jaden Blue to lead the way. Luckily for Texas, both guys have been pretty solid since taking over for Jonathon Brooks. We've seen the Texas run game hold its own over the last couple of weeks without Brooks. I don't expect Texas to have any problems running the football without having Brooks into the fold. These guys should be just fine to get that run game going for Texas to be able to run as much as they would like to run the football. The million-dollar question when you bring up the Texas Longhorns, is Texas back? Here they are. They're in the college football playoff for the very first time. They are 2 wins away from a national title for the first time since 2005. Are they back? What do you guys think? I told you at the beginning of the season I was very high on Texas, that this would be the year they'd make their return to glory. What do you think? Is Texas back? Y for yes, N for no. Way in the comment section. Tell us what you think. Folks, we are going to be live on Seahawks Today, our Seattle Seahawks channel, for the Allstate Sugar Bowl. Our coverage is going to begin at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Game will kick off at 8:45 Eastern, where we'll bring you live play-by-play coverage of this very matchup. We'll be doing some Super Chat giveaways, have a couple drinks on hand. It will be a very entertaining night. If you want live coverage of this game and want to party with us, you will not want to miss it. Washington, Texas, the Allstate Sugar Bowl College Football Playoff Semifinal, live on Seahawks Today. Subscribe to the channel, and we will see you on Monday, January 1st at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. The receiving core for both these teams, you are looking at a lot of NFL talent on both sides. With the Washington Huskies this year, this is a fantastic group. Not one, but two 1,000-yard receivers with Rome Odunze on one side and then Polk on the other. Both of those guys have been fantastic. Rome, I know everybody's been talking about Marvin Harrison Jr., and rightfully so. I'm not trying to take away anything from Harrison Jr., but Rome put up better numbers than Marvin did this year. He honestly got the Biletnikoff stolen from him. He should have won this himself. He was the better receiver in college football this year. I understand the potential with Marvin Harrison Jr., but watch out. These guys have been fantastic this year. They've been arguably the best receiving corps in college football. Texas, man, they got some dudes themselves. We mentioned Xavier Worthy coming back from injury. He has been fantastic. He's expected to be a first-round pick. Mitchell's been awesome. He's been just an automatic touchdown machine, an ATM this year with 10 touchdown scores, 813 yards, and you get the big play ability with both these guys as well. Texas is going to need a big night from both these guys if they're going to beat the Washington Huskies on that front. Look for Quinn Ewers to get both these guys involved early. Mitchell, a first-round grade by many as well. The game plan, I think, for both these teams, when you look at the Washington Huskies, I think that they're going to try to focus on the big plays, trying to attack Texas's defense with those explosive plays downfield. Look for those chunk play opportunities of sorts. Meanwhile, on Texas's side, as Sark would say, all gas, no brakes, right? I think they want to do what they can to try to wear out the Washington Huskies for 4 straight quarters of football. And something's got to give. Whatever team executes their game plan accordingly is obviously going to be in better shape in this one. Let's talk defense now for both these sides. Starting with the Washington Huskies, a couple of notable players to watch. Braylon Trice has been fantastic. He's got 5 sacks this season. Mohammed, he's got 3 interceptions. Really good in lockdown coverage. Watch out to see what he's able to do there. Meanwhile, on Texas's side, Sweat is a problem for opposing offenses that he faces. This guy requires a double team. His stats don't tell the whole story. 2 sacks this year, but he has been dominant and just a beast inside. Can't wait to see what he does in the NFL. Ford has been really solid, consistent throughout the season. Michael Taft also been a force to be reckoned with at the safety spot. He's got 3 interceptions this year. When I look at the two defenses, the advantage goes to Texas. Texas has got more playmakers on their side of the ball compared to Washington. Washington's got a solid defense. Texas has a great defense as far as I'm concerned. I got my prediction for you coming up in just a moment, but first, want to hear from you guys. Who wins? What's the final score going to be? Weigh in the comment section. Get your crystal ball out and let us know how you think this is ultimately going to play out. Folks, I think this is going to be an incredible game. This has the makings of an instant classic, but at the end of the day, defense wins. Texas gets one more stop than Washington does, and they ultimately pull this off. It is going to be hook 'em horns. Texas gets the job done 34-20 in the college football playoff semifinal. Appreciate you joining us here on this edition of College Football Now. Subscribe to the channel for the latest happenings across the great sport of college football. We got you covered. Stay tuned. Subscribe now for free, and we'll see you next time.